So the Modern Warfare 2 beta is here for PlayStation users, next week for Xbox and PC. We'll all be able to jump on, and for day 1 and maybe 2 of each weekend, we're all going to be experimenting around with a bit of what's on offer. Today I want to take a deeper dive into some of the realms of the game and give some further understanding, having played quite a bit already today with the early access beta on PlayStation, and having played yesterday at COD Next with or against some of your favorite pros, creators, and streamers. There's a bit more that, once understood, can make the systems at hand a bit more easy to digest. So as we go along, drop your thoughts below. If you jumped in the game so far, what's your favorite weapon, map, or mode? And if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor and drop a like on it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 2. We've got a lot upcoming in regards to content for the beta and beyond. I mean, the launch of the full game is in just over a month, and beyond that, we'll have Warzone 2 and DMZ in 2 months' time from today. So hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop with all of that as we chase down 500,000 subscribers. And finally, my friends over at G Fuel have bumped up code Espresso to 30% off your entire order in celebration of the beta weekends. Flavors like Hype Sauce, Pink Drip, the new Morbius Nectarine flavor, Strawberry Banana, always great choices. Can't go wrong with any of those. So if you're interested, check the link in the description below and just go to Espresso. But anyways, let's talk about some of these fundamental gameplay systems at hand. Firstly, I want to talk about weapons a little bit. Right now, weaponry, of course, is something that might be a little bit confusing. There's some bugged stuff, unlocked stuff. There's some stuff that seems locked for whatever reason. But right now, the weapons we have on offer, at least listed, are the rifles of the Lachmann 5.56, the M4, the M16, the Kastov 74U, and the TAC 56. We have the battle rifles of the FTAC Recon and the Lachmann 7.62. We have the SMGs of the Lachmann Sub, which is your MP5, the FSS Hurricane, and the Fennec 45. We have the shotguns of the Expedite 12. We have the LMGs of the 5.56 Icarus, the RAP H, and the Saken MG38. We have the marksman rifles of the LMS and the Lockwood Mark II, and the sniper rifle of the Signal 50, with sidearms of the X12 and X13 Auto, plus then the Pila and the Joker as your launchers. Now, that said, there seems to be a lot here on offer, but really they can be a little bit more simplified into what is called weapon platforms. And this is something that might give you an answer as to why can't I unlock or play with some of these weapons that I see here? Because honestly, that's a great question up front. Some of these don't have any unlock criteria. Like the M16, for example, it just simply says locked. It doesn't say how to get it, doesn't say it's unlocked at a certain level, it just says locked. That's where we come down now to the simplification of this, where we have weapon platforms. Below each of the weapon names in the create a class and weapon selection, you end up seeing what platform it ends up relating to. Now, the M4 is the one that you'll probably be the most familiar with. That's the M4 platform. But we actually have a few others listed, while some don't have any platform listed at all. Other platforms include the Lachmann Mirror, the AK platform, and the Fennec platform. Now, these platforms, the denomination here that they are a part of a platform or family means that they end up having linked progression, and you can end up unlocking them by progressing other certain weapons. Now, as it stands right now, we do know that some weapons will have upwards of 5 weapons per platform, some will have 2, some will have 1, some will seemingly have none, and that's where I kind of think we see things like the Expedite 12, like we end up seeing the Signal 50 or that Lockwood Mark II. Those don't have any designated platform associated with them, so it's very possible those are just standalone weapons that don't have any sort of sub-variant available to unlock as you progress it. But platforms, as it would appear, right now it seems like you can only play with one, right? The M4 platform. The M4 platform is sort of that premier example right now because it is something that works as it should. The base M4 allows you to progress and rank up, but as you go along, you end up gaining different receivers or different platforms for the FTAC Recon, the FSS Hurricane, the 5.56 Icarus, and the M16, but that's actually not the case. It's not the only platform that we have right now. In fact, again, this comes back down to, well, why can't I play with some of these other weapons that are just classified as locked? You might miss it, but that other platform called the Lachmann Mirror platform ends up having the base weapon unlocked at level 16, though right now, if you actually find a way to bypass it, which we'll talk about in a second, it showcases it's unlocked at level 15 to some degree, but then also says it's a default weapon. So right now it's kind of all over the place, but it's something we'll either see within later this weekend here if a beta level cap is increased, or maybe something we see next week once everybody gets their hands on and that max level cap of 30 is then the target. It depends on when the rollout actually happens for it. But that new Lachmann platform ends up including that base of the 7.62 rifle, the Lachmann 5.56 rifle, the Lachmann Sub, which is the MP5, the RAP H LMG, and the LMS, all eventually available. Now, how you actually unlock these comes down to both weapon levels, but also progression with those base weapons from the weapon platform. So the M4, for example, here, you go over to the progression tab, you can end up seeing that you unlock the M4 as a base weapon. But then you have another level to it where you unlock more weapons, and also you, of course, unlock more attachments as you go along. And we'll come back to attachments because this is actually really important to how you kit out your weapon as well. So, for example, at level 12, you end up getting the F-Tac Recon as well as the 5.56 Icarus, or you can get the Icarus by getting the FSS Hurricane to level 17. The FSS Hurricane is unlocked by reaching level 15 of the F-Tac Recon, and the M16 is unlocked by reaching level 12 on the 5.56 Icarus. Now, what's nice is the level progression of these weapons really don't seem to take all that long. You can probably get them done in 2 to 3 games if you're playing a domination match or something like that, so you should be able to experience everything relatively quickly. You just got to make sure that you're using these certain weapon variants or platforms to take full advantage of it. Now, that other platform we talked about, the Lachmann, again, it says the base is level 15 of the 7.62, though in the menus it says 16, so again, a little bit of a discrepancy there. It might be something we get fixed out for this weekend or something we see next weekend. But then with the Lachmann progression, you end up seeing that at level 12 of the 7.62, you end up earning the 5.56 rifle version. Then after that, you end up getting the Lachmann sub, the MP5, at level 11 of the 5.56. Getting the Lachmann sub to level 15 will then grant you the Rap H LMG, and getting the Rap H to level 16 will then grant you the LMS marksman rifle, finishing off that category again. So there's definitely reason to play with different variants and different versions of these platforms. It gives you more sort of base weapons, if you want to call it that, but more importantly, it gives you attachments for use across all of those weapons. Now, before we jump into that, if you guys want to check out the Lachmann here, a quick way to bypass this: set up a new class in your create a class and set the primary as the Expedite shotgun. This shotgun is the default that gets added when you add Overkill to your perk package, so if you end up having this equipped as your primary, then equipping Overkill, it puts another weapon in by default. That then turns into the Lachmann 5.56, which you can play around with and see a little bit about how it works a little earlier than we may be supposed to, but it gives you a little bit more to work with here. And again, it seems like it could be bugged where maybe it is supposed to be a base default weapon, that 7.62, or it could be something that's 15, 16, we just don't know. Now, attachments. Again, this is one of those big things that is really important, but at first glance, you may very well be wondering, well, how can I get something like a red dot optic? If you go to your base M4, you don't have that option for a little while, and it doesn't give any unlock criteria. So how do you get it? So this time around, certain attachments are specific to weapon platform, but then others are more so unlocked for the entire weapon family, and even, it seems like, for the entirety of all weapons, which is pretty nice in the case of like optics and such. But when we talk about the gunsmith, we of course mentioned that there are 4 to 5 receivers per weapon at most, some again having 1, some 2, some none, but this will change the calibration of the weapon. Each of these variations and sub-weapons on the platform end up having their own unique attachment unlocks. Each of them, of course, don't have like level 1 to 60 that you have to grind out, but instead are much more sort of focused and shorter grinds here with each. If you go to that M4 gunsmith, you go to the progression tab, or you go to the Lachmann mirror family and you go to that progression, you can end up seeing, of course, the unlocked trees. But if you scroll through, each and every single one of those attachments is an individual attachment that can be used for either a specific variance or for the overall weapon. Now, that base M4 has 19 to 20 levels, right? Well, that's 19 attachments you can unlock along the way. But at level 12, you unlock that F-Tac Recon battle rifle. Again, an additional 22 attachments and 22 levels with that. So the more you progress through these, the more attachments you can end up unlocking. And it's definitely going to play a hand in the progression and mastery. But if you can't find a certain attachment, it's probably locked to a specific variant. And you can check that in that progression system of the weapon platform. So coming back to the one posed here, how to get your red dot attachment for the M4. That in particular is a level 3 unlock for the FSS Hurricane. So effectively, you're level 31 of your M4. 12 levels of the base M4, 16 to end up getting the FSS Hurricane unlocked by using the F-Tac Recon, and then level 3 bring it to 31 of that FSS Hurricane. Now, what's nice is that that is something that can be applied to all variants as well once it's completed. Now, other attachments like your 45 round magazine, your 60 round magazine, that's not going to work with the receiver for the F-Tac Recon. That's a battle rifle with 458 rounds, so you're not going to be having the same chambered ammunition, meaning that attachment is not compatible. But others like your optics, your ammunition, underbarrels, foregrips, they can be used across the board. So when we look at it, Gunsmith honestly is a lot more in depth in terms of unlocks and how you can progress the weapon, but it really is something that tries to encourage play for every single variant here. Looking forward to those families and everything they can uniquely unlock. But then once you complete it, then you can play exactly how you want, really however you want. So wanted to go a little bit more in depth here at this because the blog post we talked about before COD Next didn't really go into too much detail in that regard. Just know that if you're looking for certain things, it may be locked behind another variant that you have to grind out. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is briefly a little bit about the perk package system. The way that it works, of course, we talked about here, where you have your 2 base perks, where you have that from the first second of the match until the match ends. The other 2 perks, though, your bonus and your ultimate, end up coming along as time progresses, where you should, in theory, every match get both of those. Whether you join late or something like that, I don't quite know if that counts or gives you any sort of bonus progress to it. But the one thing that a lot of people have been going back and forth on is how this actually progresses. Now, right now, I'm still breaking it all down for a bigger video here, but I want to throw in the mention that it seems like it is tethered both to time, but also that there is modifiers for how you do in performance. Now, I'm still trying to break apart whether it's objective play, if it's streaks, if it's kills. There's a lot of variables, but just do know that your performance is seemingly taken into account here with how quickly you get those perks. I had games where I wasn't doing great. I maybe had a bad start and then I picked up at the end. And those were about 5 minutes to 5 minutes and 15 seconds into the game where I ended up getting that ultimate. So both perks along the line. But then there were other games where I did pretty well. I went on a couple of 10 streaks or something close to that. And I ended up getting my ultimate in about 4 minutes or 4 minutes and 15 seconds in that window. So it seems like there is some sort of modifier based off of how you do, whether you're again playing the objective, whether or not it's just kills, whether it's streaks. That is still something that I don't quite have the information on just yet, but we'll bring it to you once we do. But anyways, wanted to fill you guys in here. First day on the beta, a lot of stuff to go over and a lot of stuff that honestly, I'm a little overwhelmed on what I should be talking about, what I should bring to you guys. So if you want to see anything in particular, it may very well be something we have scheduled and maybe something we can end up pushing ahead of schedule as opposed to what I currently have scheduled. But anyways, love to hear your thoughts and feedback down below. Are you guys liking the Gunsmith so far? Are you liking Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer and what we've seen up until this point? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on the video. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing running all things Modern Warfare 2. We'll keep you covered with absolutely any and everything you need to know. There's a lot coming up in the next couple of weeks to months, so make sure you stick it here for all of it. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.